Element, we're back at you again this week with another episode of Element Online, and this week we are talking about... What are we talking about? We're talking about... what will people someday come running to you for? What will people look to you for? What will they find when they come asking for your help? Interesting subject. We're continuing our conversation with Abraham's epic journey across the Middle East and his dramatic, kind of extra little nephew, Lot, who's causing a lot of issues here and there, and this week's no different. But before I get back to Abraham's story, I need to ask a question because I think there's two kinds of people in the world. You either A, don't like spiders, or B, don't like snakes. Now, I know there's some hybrids where like one of you or two of you like both or don't like either or whatever, but typically it kind of parts down the middle. Some people don't like spiders, some people don't like snakes. For me, I even think of a spider. I even think of a spider. Ugh. Josh Sykes, my friend, will just randomly send me pictures of spiders. And it, like, I can feel them. I can feel them crawling up my neck. I can feel it. But because I'm afraid of spiders, I'm not really that afraid of snakes. Like, they just really don't bother me that much. Especially gardener snakes. Now, okay, not like rattlesnakes and boa constrictors and all the crazy stuff they have in Florida or whatever. But I'm talking about like Nebraska gardener snakes. You know, you got nothing to worry about. They're here, you're here, they'll move on, no big deal. But some people, they really freaks them out. And you can ask her about this. I won't tell her story because it's her side of the story, but my mom is one of those people that really, really doesn't like snakes. So growing up, we had like a burn barrel in the backyard, and it's like where you like burn sticks and twigs and stuff. It's what people who live in the country do. The country, we live in St. Liboire. It's kind of like the country, but in a town. But anyways, we had a burn barrel, and underneath that burn barrel, a nest of gardener snakes. I mean, like all slithering on top of each other. Just literally my mom's worst nightmare.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
She screamed and called for me and told me to take care of it. And for me, it was no big deal. I was like, I can handle snakes. So I just, I'd pick one up and I'd say, how you doing? And then I'd carry him out of the yard and set him down and say, journey onward. My mom would have taken a different approach, and she can tell you what that approach would have been. You can ask her yourself, okay? And if you're in her group, you're in for a treat tonight. So... But when it came to snakes, my mom came running to me to handle the snake issue. They didn't really bother me. My question today is, what would people come running to you for? What would people come running to you for? So we're picking up the Abraham story. Lot had just been deeply in the whole what's in it for me mentality. He had taken the best land, the best resources, the best opportunities, went his own way, left Abraham with a desert and really no water, no resources, whatever. But Abraham loved his nephew, said, okay, I'm going to be generous. You can go have that. But Lot, you see, this nephew of Abraham, kept choosing to be in the wrong crowd. And so eventually he got caught up in this bad crowd. And there was a bunch of different crowds around this area at this time that all started fighting each other. And well, they came to fight the crowd that Lot was a part of, and they just destroyed him, just wiped him out. And so they took Lot and his buddies as like prisoners. They were going to go bully them into oblivion. But one of them got free. And instead of like running and hiding in a cave or running to one of the other crews or whatever, he came and he ran to Abraham to ask for help. He ran all the way across this land to come find Abraham, who he called
the Hebrew.
The Bible calls him
the Hebrew,
which is kind of like
the Terminator,
or
the Mandalorian.
I don't know what the Mandalorian sounds like. I haven't seen it yet. Heard it's good, but don't want to waste my time. Anyways, I'm just burnt out on the Star Wars story, you guys. I'm just burnt out on it. So they run up to the Hebrew, which basically means this guy is not committed to anyone, anything, or anywhere besides God, except God. He's committed to God. He's kind of a nomad, just kind of travels out, has his own vibe or whatever. And so this guy runs to Abraham, asks him for help, and Abraham says, yeah, that's my nephew. I got to help. So he gets together some of his buddies, go and beat up all the bullies. They free Lot, bring him back with them. And the towns that he kind of saved and helped in that scenario started treating him like he was LeBron James when he got back. And so they were throwing all this cred at him and glory and honor. And this guy out of nowhere kind of rides in out of the, setting sun. His name's Melchizedek, and he sets up this communion tray basically to say, hey, because of the victory you just had, we're going to have communion. We're going to have a moment where we're going to celebrate God's victory. And, Abraham, that was a lesson, and obviously a lesson he took to heart, that even though it could have looked like it was Abraham's victory, it was truly the Lord's victory. And you see that because the next thing that happens is they want to give him all these riches. They want to give Abraham all these things. And he says, nah, I don't need any of it. I don't want any of it. You can give it to the other people that helped me, but I
am the Hebrew.
I stay uncommitted to anyone, anything. I'm committed to God, and he's the one who deserves the victory. So, pause the story there. That was the new development. So my question, once again to you this week is, what do people run to you for? What do people run to you for in life? There's some people who maybe run to you for good things, and some people who you have people running to you for bad things. Like maybe people run to you because they know you'll help them cheat on their homework. Maybe people run to you because they know you're the bully, and if they're behind you making fun of people, at least they won't get made fun of. What do people run to you for? Is it bad? Maybe for you, people run to you for good things. And maybe it's for courage and for bravery and being strong and being able to dunk, and they want you on their team and stuff. But maybe it's more subtle than that. Maybe people run to you because you're a good listener. Maybe people going through hard times come running to you because you're a loyal friend. Maybe people come running to you because you're an encourager. At the end of it all, what do people come running to you for? When I look at my life, I think up until really about halfway through college, people come running to me when they wanted entertainment. And I love that because it fed my ego. Like I felt important, I felt wanted because people wanted to laugh or talk or whatever, or I would sing or dance or put on some sort of show for people. I think people ran to me because I entertained them in one way or another. And that's okay. That's good. That's not necessarily something that's awful, right? But now that I've grown in wisdom, in God's wisdom, and now that I see life a little differently on the other side of following Jesus, I hope people someday, I'm totally not there yet, I hope people come running to me because I show them what the love of God is like. Not because I'm so great, but maybe because I'm so vulnerable or I'm so open with people who might believe or might not believe, but at the same time, they're going to get the same sort of love from me. And that only comes through God. I hope people run to me someday because they're looking for God. And I hope I get to just pass them off to them. I'm not perfect at it. I can't tell you that people come running to me to see what Jesus is like because I'm just as busted up as the next person, but I could point them in the right direction. And I think of this, so be thinking of this question of why do people run to you? And I want you to hear this, and maybe this is your hope too. This is Jesus saying why people would run to you. You're here to be a light. This is Matthew chapter 5. You're here to be a light, bringing out the God colors in this world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. And if I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep an open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God. This generous Father we have in heaven. It's not about creating followers, people running to you for the best content, people running to you for the latest gossip. It's about people running to you because you're showing them the love of God. And we can only do that because we see the love of God in the way that Jesus loved us, the way that he sacrificed himself, died for our sins, and gave us the freedom to live in grace and forgiveness so that we could walk unashamed, showing people the love of God. Why do people run to you? And maybe here's my final question this week. What do you hope someday, looking back on your life, say in your 70s or your 80s, why did people come running to you? What kind of help were you giving to people? What kind of hope were you giving to people? I hope you have a great time in your groups tonight, discussing what this looks like in your life and the light that you can be in the world around you.